Hello friends, my name is Kamran Yaraei and welcome to God in a Simple Way. You know, when you come to earth, doesn't matter what age, we just age every single day, and one day we have to leave our body here on this planet and go. And the real us and the soul and the spirit, or the person that was created by God, not just the body, it will go and leave the earth. My question is, when we are leaving the earth, or when we are getting very close to leave the earth, when we look back at our life, what kind of desires and wishes that we wished that God would fulfill, and what kind of desires and the wishes that God already fulfilled that we wished at the end of our life that He would not fulfill those things or grant it to us. Sometimes, we ask God, we push Him for the things, like a child that would push their parent for something and cry and say, I want this, and you give it to them. Like prodigal son, he asked his father, give me my inheritance, and the father gave it to him. And hopefully, at least our situation would be like that the Lord granted something that we wanted so bad, but what He granted us and gave it to us led us to kind of a slavery. But the great thing was that slavery led to the discovery of the real identity of the son. See, the other son was with the father and didn't ask that much. And although he could have everything there, but he didn't ask that much. Still, he was in a slavery because he didn't realize who he was. But the son that demanded everything and lost everything, for him to eat with the pig and not even have enough food as much as the pig they had, it led him to go back to the father. That did not open his eyes, but the response of the father, a wealthy man, to this lost person that lost everything, led him to realize the true identity of himself, which we all know the story of the prodigal son. The point is, what is the point? I tried to make another point in the beginning, but it led to something else that I didn't see it coming. The point in the beginning was, which was a weaker point, that what kind of wishes that we really wanted the Lord to grant us at the end of our life. There are things that just the car and the house and this and that, which is wonderful. It didn't really matter. It doesn't matter toward the end of our life. What really matters is the amount of life we carried while we lived and the amount of love. But the point that came out, which was the way better point that I wanted to make, it just came out while I was talking, is even if we ask the Lord for the wrong thing, His response always will, how can I say it? His response even to our wrongdoing and wrong wishes, the Father's response always will lead us to this transformation, which is the realization of who we truly are, our identity. In that sense, then there is great news now. There is great hope for what is happening right now, because we have so many prodigal sons right now in this world. And perhaps some of us, we are the good son that is staying with the father. Just stay there, is fine. Don't become a prodigal. But it looked like the prodigal son and daughters, it looked like they are, going and doing a lot of things, but when they come back, the response of our Father to all these people which we call backsliding, prodigal son, or sinners, is the response of the Father that will lead them into realization of who they are. They knew kind of who the Father was. The Father gave them everything. But when he lost everything, he started eating with pigs. When he came back just to be a servant, the response of the Father, the grace of, we call it grace of the Father, changed his life. Then we ask for that grace for all of us, because some of us, we are the faithful son. We are serving the Father, and I hope we don't get jealous. But the point, it looked like the main point is, it is not me trying to transform me or to understand my identity. It's always the response of the Father toward us. It was how Jesus responded toward the prostitute when people, they wanted to stone her. That changed the life of a prostitute. Anyway, in that sense, the glory goes to the Father and his response. It's so amazing. I started to say something else and I discovered something else. Oops, maybe I am the other brother. But it's the grace of the Father and how he responds to even our sin or us losing everything. It's the Father again. We owe him everything. It's a beautiful grace. I always say grace is the beauty of Father's face, beauty of God's face. Let's remember that. In that sense, there is a lot of hope right now, even for this generation. The hope is not on the prodigal sons or daughter. The hope is on fathers, the response, how the Father will respond to the prodigal sons and daughter. That's all. I want to say something. This is something to ponder, but man, this is more than pondering.